Hey, Whiskey Fancies, I'm Chris.
And I'm Kara.
What do we have today, Kara?
We have Glengoyne, a flight of 10, 15, and 18 years.
Cool. I'm gonna be honest, I disliked it because it came in a pack that was so adorable. It was like a round cylinder thing.
Yeah.
And you usually see things like in a tray.
So you didn't like it?
I liked it because it came in like a full unique package.
Oh, I thought you said you disliked it.
Maybe I misspoke.
Oh.
But anyway.
It's cool because you twist it and it pops open.
It was cool.
So, is age just a number? Well, that's what we're here to find out. We're going to see if we can taste the difference between the 10, 15, and 18 years. There's definitely going to be a difference, but we want to see if we can pick out what notes we pick out depending on the year. Does that work for you?
That does, but I kind of really hope that age is just a number because
so
I'm
we can
getting
buy
older. I'm getting older.
Oh, that's true.
It's just a number.
I thought it was going to be so we could buy the younger stuff.
Oh, that too, but I'm sorry, I was being a little selfish. I'm like, I'm getting old, so age is just a number now.
I feel you. Yeah. So the reason why we decided to do Glengoyne, like Chris said, it came in a nice cool little mini pack so we could try a vertical, and we know that it's the same mash bill, so it's malted barley all the way through. So the only thing that's changing is the age, because all three of these are matured in sherry barrels. So the only difference should be the aging.
But see, it does. It doesn't say that though. Where did you see that?
It says in this little book that Glengoyne gives you in the pack.
Oh, okay. Because I'm like, I wouldn't even.
Yeah, because normally Scotch is either matured in ex-bourbon or ex-sherry or a combination of both and blended. This says they age in sherry.
Cool.
Excuse me. Well, mature. That's how they.
Okay.
That's the
vernacular. It could have been maybe finished for just a little amount of time.
They don't finish it.
Okay.
This one does not say finished. So this is matured exclusively in sherry.
Okay.
Well, this is only 40%, 43%, and 43% alcohol.
Okay.
So that's the light color. Oh, and another great thing about this Glengoyne is it says natural color, so I don't think they're adding any color. Yeah, it says the color is from time and the oak casks alone. So no color added, so that's awesome. My guess is they are chill filtered, so it's because they're not saying they're unchill filtered. And for at 40% alcohol, you would get some, as they call, Scotch fog. You would see that. So,
so we're going for the 10 first.
Let's do this. I'm excited.
All I know is just sitting here, I'm smelling all kinds of malt, and it smells delicious. Actually,
it smells really nice. I got a hint of white balsamic vinegar for half a second.
Oh yes, I could totally see the balsamic part of that.
Yeah, the white one that's not
the little
tanginess.
But I'm not. It doesn't feel like I'm smelling a salad.
So I'm really excited because October we're kicking off what we're gonna call Scotch-tober on Whiskey Fancies. We're gonna try to go through as many Scotch reviews as we can in the month of October.
That's gonna be real interesting.
We're gonna kick that off. We'll see what happens. I'm getting like the sweet honeyed malt with the little white balsamic vinegar.
This is very respectable for considering like a young age for a Scotch, 10 year, and it's only 40%. I don't feel like it's watered down completely. There's flavors there, right?
Oh yeah.
For a 40%, I'm actually quite surprised.
I get honey.
Yeah, it's definitely got the honey there.
What's the fruit? It's a little fruity.
You know what? When you bite into like a white peach, or like a peach, a young peach, where it's
not quite ripe, so it's not as juicy as you hope.
Yeah.
Yep, done that before. That's a mistake.
There's some flavor in there that reminds me of that.
I can see that. Or a white nectarine where it's like the delicate one.
Yeah. Yeah. Where it's got a little something, you're like, oh, I should have waited a little bit. I'm actually quite surprised that this is a 10-year.
Does it taste younger or older?
It's not that
it's not that much different
older, but because of the age and it's only 40%, I was quite expecting something so much toned down.
Yeah, a little
muted.
Yeah,
this is actually it's pleasant. Not actually muted. What's the going price for that?
About $50. Ranges, but about 50. I think that's.
It is.
It's and a lot of times the entry level scotches for Glenlivet, Glenfiddich,
could be lower.
They're 12 years old.
Oh, Oh, okay. I was going price range. Sorry.
No, they are. I don't know. I know that Glenlivet is like a huge distillery, and so is Glenfiddich. So I'm just assuming that Glengoyne is a little bit smaller.
It has a sharpness.
But for a 10 versus the 12, they're very, from my memory, they're very comparable.
It has a sharpness to it, but it's almost like a sour walnut sharp.
Where?
Towards the finish on the palate. Like it takes a slight detour.
Like a little tinge.
Something, but it's not like a
oak. I like it.
I like it. It's just there's something there that just it swerves away from where the beginning and the mid palate go towards. I like it. It's simple, but yet it's not muted.
That's very
if that makes
approachable.
sense. Yeah.
So I would say maybe something going from bourbon to Scotch. The main things you have to get used to are the malty flavors. I don't know if I go directly. I don't know if I would jump right from bourbon to Scotch into like a single malt. I would go with either a blend or something that's finished in sherry.
That's how I started
fruity.
out. Yeah, like I didn't care for the single malt.
It takes a little bit of.
But now I enjoy it.
It takes a little bit of effort, in my experience, to go from bourbon to single malt.
Yeah.
If it's not finished, because those beautiful fruit finishes like sherry, port, kind of hide the maltiness, if you will. And I just grew to love malt.
Yeah.
After just drinking different scotches, and then I'm like, oh, I understand malt, and now that flavor doesn't surprise me. I enjoy it. So this is actually kind of pleasant for a person that wants to start Scotch.
Yeah,
it's not a bad choice. I'm not really sure of the availability of Glengoyne, but it wasn't hard for us to get. But
I'm not really tasting so much the sherry on it, to be honest.
Right, it's only 10 years, and I don't know how.
I know the little pamphlet thing said it, but
it's 10 years old, right?
With the gold color, I just can't. Even on the 18, I just can't believe that.
I think it takes quite some time, and I've noticed that some of the sherry
it could
influence
be a refill, maybe.
Right, right. Like we have a first fill hogshead, and that's super dark, and it's very
like it was a
fruit
wet
forward, but that one is definitely finished, not matured. So I think it's like that gives it extra fruit. I think they do it almost twice, finished it.
Okay, this is.
Oh, I like that.
This is so much more pleasant on the nose. This wasn't bad,
no,
but this was straight up single
malt
malt right in your face.
But this has that vinegar, balsamic vinegar, just a tad. It's not like super kicky in the face, but there's just a hint of vinegar.
This is more florally for a single malt. You can still smell the single malt, but it's a little
floral on that. That's funny.
Oh, that's so weird. Is this a little?
Because it's a touch
softer.
Yeah. Oh, I like that. I don't think I've.
No, this is just a 5-year difference, right?
Yep, we're going up 5 years. And it's 3% more alcohol.
I can see the color
so
difference.
So it's 43
slightly.
on this one.
Okay.
Just,
I like it.
I like it. Hold on.
But I'm perplexed. It has more of an oilier feel. For sure.
I noticed that right away.
For 10 years. Okay, so it basically took the 10-year that already had, it rounded it off and kind of like, and maybe it's the 3% that kind of amped up the volume a little bit on the flavors that were already there.
I'm gonna go back to the 10.
Like, I could definitely tell they're related, but the 15-year is a little bit more rounded, where the 10-year, some of them were a little bit sharper edges.
Yeah, I was just gonna say a little spikier in the beginning.
Yeah.
But I kind of, sometimes I like that. I don't know why, but sometimes I like that. So I'm gonna go back to 15. But I can
taste the single malt more.
I like the texture of the, you can definitely taste the sweet malt more. And this has a little bit more barrel influence on the back. The texture is fun though. So what I'm seeing right away is the 15. So it seems like the age in the barrel rounds off the sharp edges is what we're picking up so far. And it's not dramatically changing it, but it's nice to see that little elevation.
And going back for another sip?
Yeah.
Little tingle.
I noticed that too.
So it lingers. Whereas this one, you're like, Oh, okay. It's that's it. End of story.
The finish is a little quick on the tenure.
It is. This one, it
That
stays
oiliness
with, yes, it does.
keeps that.
Little tingle. So if someone is like coming from a high rye bourbon and likes that, this kind of has a little bit of that quality. Like it just, the presence of the little tingliness to me.
I like that.
How much is this?
This average is range is about $90.
Oh.
Yeah. So we're almost doubled in that 5 years. So we went from 50 to 90. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't see. This is the tricky part is when you start to almost double and you only get a couple years out of it. That's it. It all depends on how much you love that malt. I think.
Mm-hmm.
So far, Glengoyne malt is not bad.
No.
I don't know if it's my favorite one though. This is a Highland.
No.
So
And
I don't think I said it in the beginning. This is a Highland Scotch.
I'm not getting a peat
Well, it's
from
unpeated.
a Highland. Okay.
So not
That's
every,
right.
This Glengoyne does not peat their malt. They dry their barley in the air, so they don't smoke. They don't use peat to dry
I was
it.
a little confused because I was like, "Oh, look, we got all of these peated ones."
It's not.
No.
So
Okay.
more along very similar to a Speyside, but more like. But I'm getting more floral than I would on some of the
Oh, for sure.
Speysides that I have very limited experience, and so does Chris. But the Speysides that I recall are more like pear and honeysuckle, like really more pear. Wouldn't you say?
Usually in an Oloroso cask as well.
I'm trying.
Right.
I'm like more trying to remember Glenlivet's line,
Oh, I
and those are not. Those are mature. I think very similar to Glengoyne.
You
Those
should
are
smell
Speyside.
this 18.
Okay, we're moving on to 18. I forgot. So going up a couple more years, just 3 more years.
Okay, I could tell the difference side by side actually.
Oh, it's fruitier. The 15 is floral,
yeah.
and the 18 is fruity.
Fruity, but the sweetness on it is more like a slight butterscotch sweetness, right?
It's just, ooh, I
Right?
got that. Yep, right at the end.
It's got a little bit of butterscotch.
It's like,
Oh.
ooh, yeah. Okay, that nose got me. Ooh, that smells really nice. So just 3 more years, and we're getting more fruit, and the honey kind of pushes more richer to butterscotch.
Oh, this is pleasant. Oh. It took all the best things from the 15 and the 10, and then it's like, here's where I'm supposed to be.
Get more wood.
This is a good balance. No, wait, I'm afraid to ask how much.
I think if I remember correctly, I will correct myself if I'm wrong, but I think it averages about 150 to 160.
Why are the best things so goddamn expensive?
Yeah, we tend to like the bit older Scotch single malts, but you do pay for them because they do have there's a lot of aging they have to wait around
That's
for,
true.
so you have to pay for it somehow. So I get it.
This isn't the most perfect example, I think, of a well-aged single malt, but I think it does stand out from what we have here. To me, it stands out.
Now, there's a little. So do you get the sharpness still?
I'm getting more botanic sharpness.
I get a little bitterness on the bottom. The palate.
Whereas here, it was slightly different how it was, and now it's more into more of like the barrel influence. It's almost. I still throughout all of these, I still get like a weird, like a sour walnut.
You're getting
notes.
sour.
Throughout all of these, that was like the main thing that I kept
That could
getting.
be your malt profile. I'm not really familiar with like
a rancid walnut.
So
just where that sourness is. No, it's not bad because it's so small and back there.
So you know how in bourbon there are qualities that you can pick out that run through a distillery. Like for instance, you get this dusty nuttiness off Heaven Hill. Well, Scotch does that too with their malt. There's like a signature flavor that if you're experienced, you can pick it out. Especially if you've had a lot of the single malt from the same distiller, right? You can start to taste kind of like their signature. Because what's fascinating is the shape of the pot stills in Scotland greatly influence the texture and the flavor
Interesting.
of their Scotch because everybody's using barley It has to be it has
So
to
you
be
have to
malt
stand out.
barley. So they do different things over there to stand out. And I think a lot of it is there's quite a bit of influence on what comes through the distillate because of the still. It's fascinating.
I don't think I have that
I don't have a
much
refined
experience.
palate.
Neither do I for Scotch.
No, but this is a fun.
But there's something in here
experience.
that that equates to my palate as like eating a cookie that's got like maybe a sour walnut in it. You know, like
Sure, like a little.
there's something in there that I'm not sure what it is, but that's just what my brain's telling me or reminds me of. But are you on the 18? It's a little bit more drier.
Just a tad.
It's not as oily to me
I like
as
the
the
texture
15.
of the 15. Yeah, I do.
But
too.
I feel like it is slightly thicker, but the oiliness doesn't equate as much as it did in the 15.
It makes the palate last longer.
Yes. It definitely doesn't have as long of a finish as a 15, but I feel like all of those flavors are still there. It's just more refined.
I think this finish of the 15 has a bit more ethanol bite actually. Even for 43%, it's still kind of like it's a little prickly.
I
Prickly.
actually was surprised that these two are 43 when you keep drinking them, because they do have a little. Yeah. Can you imagine if these are like cast strength or just like that would be.
It might be a little spiky.
Yeah, I don't know if that would work out so well, but I could be wrong.
This is fascinating. So what I'm getting is a little bit. This is light and honeyed on the 10.
Mm-hmm.
And the age of 5 years gives you a little texture, gives you a little more floral, in the palate lasts a little longer. And then we go to the 18 year, then we start to pick up more of that barrel tan and vanillin at the end.
Yeah.
But this throughout, you can still get that teensy sour walnut you're picking up of the malt.
Something.
And we're picking it up. I get it in all of them. I actually smell it on the nose in the first one, but you don't smell it in the 18. But it feels like it's on the palate, like you said. So that is fascinating.
But I think.
So what do you think about, is age just a number, or can you taste?
Can
you see the progression?
I can definitely taste and distinguish the progression, but coming from a bourbon drinker that likes punchiness and the rye spice, I think 15 would be.
Oh, because it's right in the middle.
Because it's right in the middle, because it has that spikiness that some bourbons on a high rye bourbon has for that finish. But I do like this 18, which is very well rounded for this lineup. Maybe not the best example,
right.
but of what we have side by side.
It's fun.
I like it. It has more of the fruitiness to it. It's got more of the barrel influence, but I still am not getting much of the sherry, although I do get fruit off the 18.
Right.
But not as much fruit as I was expecting if, say, you told me it was a sherry. Like,
and I think it's because it's sherry matured rather than any kind of extra finishing.
Yeah, and that could just be my not very refined palate from Scotch, that the sherry casks that we drink are usually first fill or maybe
they're finished.
Richer.
Yeah, so we started out with a lot of finished scotches, a lot of finished to get over that maltiness hump. Now that we enjoy it, so normal, like typical single malts, in my understanding, are more like this, where they're not so heavily handed of finished. So it's more like the fruit shows up in the 18. So that makes sense. From what I've been reading, this is fairly typical of how single malt expression is matured in sherry as opposed to finished in it later. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
it's more heavy-handed sometimes when it's finished. Like we say, it's like as if it was a wet barrel. It tastes like somebody poured wine in there. Yeah. So these are a little different. For my money, I think I would also recommend the 15. Just it's a nice. It's less than $100, so we're not going crazy. Yeah. You get a little bit of the beautiful malt, but you also get some floral influence. And I really like I like the texture.
Yeah, but I feel like there's like a $40 to $50 increase for each aging increment, right? Is that what it is?
Well, this is 90.
Okay.
And this is 150 to 160.
Yeah,
so that's like is that not? And this one is 50
for me. To whereas it wasn't to where either of these
I don't
is
know
that
if I-
off-putting.
Right, I don't know if I like the previous,
Yeah.
the second one, the I don't know if I like them doubly as I keep going up.
Exactly.
And that's kind of what the prices do. And this is, how many years is this? 3?
15. That's 3 years difference.
And there's,
I'm satisfied for
I
the
like
little
them-
gift pack.
oh, this is the best way.
That is.
We've sent it in the
Yes.
past, but and
And the holidays are coming up, so you're gonna see a lot of those.
keep your eyes
So
open for holiday
that's what we're gonna be
packs.
doing.
These are fun, and I know it's most of the time it's major distillers that do it,
Mhm.
but that means you get to explore one distillery
Yeah.
and do a little flight and see how the malt progresses with age. It's a little fun. So I think we can definitely taste the age difference. I don't think that older is always better. It is different. For my palate and for the value that I'm getting out of it, I recommend the 15 for me.
We're coming from bourbon, so I think that's why.
Probably.
I think the 18 is really good.
Yeah.
Where it's got, different components amped up, but it is a lot easier to drink
The 18?
with more flavor. But I think coming from the bourbon side, it's kind of okay for us. For the price.
Yeah,
It's
single malts tend to be a lot more expensive because of the aging. they have to do.
I understand.
So
that.
I think
That's a long time, 18 years.
and
That's a
I
long
totally
time.
get it. Maybe if it was a malt that I enjoyed more, I would
Yeah.
pay that price.
I'll pay for the tiny little price again.
Yeah,
I
I would
would.
too.
I enjoy it, but it wouldn't be something because of the price range that I would pour it as often. And because of the price, I would put that in the category as like a special bottle.
Yeah.
But I don't feel it drinks to be qualified as a special
It doesn't
bottle.
drink as special to me.
No, unless maybe there's like a special like memory or reason why that bottle, then that could be different. But I don't think it qualifies for that for us.
Yeah. So is 15 your pick as well?
Coming
Or
from
the 10?
bourbon, I think between the 10 and the 15, it amps up what the 10 already had started for the base, but it rounds it out and it's more oily. I like that oiliness.
I do too.
And it finishes really good.
Very nice.
It's
just a really good winner, isn't it?
yeah. Some people might not like that in the Scotch because
Right.
it's a little what they would be spicy,
It's a little
right? But coming from the bourbon, but it's not a youthful spice.
It's nice.
It is.
It's not a youthful spike.
No.
It's that maltiness they got
Yes.
going on. I
The
enjoy
18
it.
takes that spice on the finish that the 15 had, and it's more nutty now.
Yeah, that's definitely that barrel, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to see what their notes are, or not particularly? That's funny.
Hmm.
There's walnuts on the description of all of these.
What about sour? Because I'm not getting a regular walnut. I'm getting like
This
a,
one's
there's some
slightly
sourness.
nutty. This one is walnuts with a nip of cinnamon. That could
I'm
be
not
that.
getting
That could be that
cinnamon, but
spike.
Maybe what I'm equating is
And
sourness.
the last one they say is marzipan and walnut. I
It's
need
funny
to.
that they say walnut though,
It's walnut as cross, and that's what you pulled out.
because
That's pretty funny.
but
I don't normally get. You're really good at specific nutty flavors.
you know why? Because I had bad experience with some bakery
Oh yeah.
items that had sour walnuts.
They turned, and that's
And I
never
was
fun.
like,
that's
what?
never fun. But okay, so
That's on.
they say that this one is fruity, and we do get this.
Okay.
They don't say that the 15 is floral, but I get more
It's
floral.
on the.
They say
nose.
hint of lemon, but they do reference the oily mouth.
It does have an extra spikiness that I guess people can equate to citrus, but I don't.
Sure. I do hear people say a lot that they get citrus notes and lemon. I'm guessing that's what we perceive as like almost we call it a spiky note.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's probably it. And then toffee on the first one, slightly nutty. The taste, they say green apples with sweet licorice. I don't get that.
Thank God I don't get licorice.
But I can give our
God.
assessment is really close to the same, especially the texture difference, the evolving of how the barrel influences, especially on the last one. You can start to taste like the little barrel tan is just creeping in a little bit. I this was a fun experiment.
Yeah, I like it, and I actually would buy this little set again.
All right. So have you ever tried Glengoyne? Have you ever done a vertical with your favorite single malt Scotch to see how age affects your whiskey. Is it just a number, or is older always better? Leave us a comment below and give us a thumbs up. And while you're down there, don't forget to subscribe and turn on your notifications so you can join us in our next video. Well, I don't know about you, but
Do you fancy that whiskey?
I fancy these whiskeys.
Yeah. I want to put them all together.
Cheers.
Cheers.